It's the usual nice morning wake up and oh, hello there, random swans.
Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from a sortofinterestinglife.com and you are watching another Boat Life blog update here on board good old Tilly, and my goodness me, what a week it has been. First of all, let's dive straight into some actual proper boating footage. I know that my previous Boat Life blog update had a lot of me talking in the boat. That was because I had dropped the camera and all of my footage into the canal, so I didn't have much to bulk out the video with. Whereas now I've got the iPod, I've already got over half an hour of footage like this stored up, so we've got plenty of trip commentary videos to come. Anyway, I would also just like to take a moment to thank everybody for the incredible response to episode 1 of the Narrowboat documentary series. That's been incredibly encouraging, and thank you all for the comments and the messages and everybody who's been sharing it on Facebook and Twitter and all that sort of stuff. As I've always said, when your marketing budget is zero, it's a huge help to have people go out there and talk and generally tweet and spread the word. So thank you all so much for that. Anyway, let's get down to what's been going on in boat life. Well, at the end of the previously mentioned documentary, you may remember that I said the engine had started to play up and was drinking a lot of water into its cooling system. Well, that unfortunately, once again, cut short my long trip plans. So I moored up just after I'd been through the Frankton locks, and over a day or two I moved down to Ellesmere. Then I had to go into work over the weekend, at which point I thought, you know what, I'm going to leave it and sort it out after I've been into work, because I'm now in a 3 weeks off period, so that's obviously plenty of time, and I thought I don't want to be starting a job on the engine or on the boat and then having to disappear for a couple of days to my actual real life job in a supermarket. For anybody who's new watching this, I thought I'd just better throw that in. I do actually have a real job. So, yes, that was definitely not what I wanted to happen. And as I was at work, I was working a late night on the Monday, and somebody said to me, "Oh, Dan, you might want to check where your kayak is. Somebody's posted a picture of your boat on Facebook and there's no kayak on the roof." So anyway, when I had a look when I went home, I saw that the kayak was on the towpath. So I didn't get back until about 11:30 at night. So luckily, a friendly boater had put my kayak up onto the stern, and I knew exactly who it would be because their boat was moored up behind me, and it's somebody who I've crossed paths a few times with now, a wonderful chap. And so, yeah, that was a good start, seeing that I actually still had a kayak. So I went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and of course I needed water to go into the cooling because it had been drinking every drop of water I could get my hands on. Didn't want to move the boat without any, or with an unknown amount of water in the cooling system, so I had to then get in the kayak, paddle down with a load of empty bottles to the Ellesmere service point, which was only a couple of minutes down the way. So I filled up these bottles of water, and you can imagine there's two proper big boats, 50-footers, maybe a bit longer, moored up at the services, filling up with water, doing all the usual things, and there's me paddling a kayak, getting up to the services, dragging it up onto just by the water point, filling these bottles, and then hopping back in the kayak and paddling away. So that was a way that I've never ever got to the Ellesmere services or any service point in the past. To cut a very long story short, ultimately it ended up with me not being able to fix the engine because I don't know what I'm doing. I went round to Ellesmere Marina, checked if they had any mooring spaces, which unfortunately they didn't, and then a chap by the name of Paul came back to the boat to have a look and was the first person to discover in 2 years since I've had Tilly that a cooling system is not fetching raw water out of the canal, and in fact, where we thought the pipes went out into the canal, it turns out just leads to one big pipe that goes right below the stern and below the deck area that you stand, but in the water, which that appears to have had a leak in it. Well, still does have a leak in it. So ultimately, even though it should be a simple job of just plugging up this hole or replacing a pipe, you do need to take the boat out of the water to get that sorted. So unfortunately, I've decided that rather than go for a big spend and the expense of getting the boat out of the water now, I'm going to leave it until maybe 6 months, I don't know, basically until next year when I get the boat out of the water to be blacked on the hull, and then have everything done and the engine looked at and everything all in one go, so that I'm not paying to have the boat dry docked twice instead of just once. As a result, I've decided to keep with my usual method of travelling, which is to keep travelling maybe a mile, 2 miles a day, or have a couple of days here, move on a few miles. And if that means that I end up being stuck and stranded at beautiful places like this at Ellesmere, then I'm more than happy, especially if I can mingle with the local residents such as this. And that's one of them things where you can't really plan for these things. It's a shame that it's happened right before my 3 weeks off work, so it's scuppered my longer travel plans that I had, and I wanted to show you a few little things that I probably won't get the chance to now, but well, it's all part of the fun, and at the end of the day, all's well that ends well, and if this is how you get to spend your evenings, I'm more than happy with that. One of the unexpected outcomes of this little trip into the marina was when the said gentleman said to me, "Well, I've got to take a holiday boat back down to Whitchurch Marina tomorrow. Do you want to come?" And you can imagine, if the question is, "Dan, do you want to go boating?" my answer is going to be a wholehearted yes. So on that note, the following morning, we both hopped on this about 47-foot boat here and had a good 4 or 5 hour trip down to Whitchurch. Absolutely fantastic, really great scenery, all the usual things that I love about boating, and of course, you can imagine me getting to have the experience of driving a much bigger boat than Tilly. It was great to see the differences. After 2 years of getting used to steering Tilly, it was quite interesting to move to a bigger boat like this with the extra length, the extra weight, and the forward momentum that that weight gives you. It was interesting mainly because it made everything seem a lot slower and a lot more deliberate, and I hate to say it, but a lot more graceful than on Tilly. The flat bottom of this boat compared to Tilly's V-bottom would definitely help make it feel more stable in the water. But there's just something of, on Tilly, because there's such a small boat to turn, it seems more immediate, and because of that, it seems that every little movement of the tiller has far more of an effect and makes it look and appear, at least to me when I'm steering, as if I'm wobbling all over the middle of the canal. Whereas a boat like this seems to have that forward momentum to just keep you carrying on in a straight line and make all the corners really long, slow, graceful affairs. And yeah, it was a fantastic experience. Really enjoyed it. The thing that I did notice as a big difference was when it came to pulling the boat to the side when we were going through the lift bridges, things like that. The weight of the boat and having all of that extra surface area for the wind to catch on made it a lot more difficult for me to pull in the boat on my own when I'm used to just being able to pull Tilly in across. And ultimately, with Tilly, I find it quite easy and quite simple and straightforward to handle her on my own when I'm mooring up and things like that. Whereas with this, I felt that there was a good bit of effort that needed to go in to sort of bring her into the side rather than Tilly just seeming to, yeah, I'll just lean me weight backwards against the rope and we'll hopefully come into more. So ultimately, it was a beautiful day, it was a rainy day, it was a classic British summer day. We had waterproofs on and we're getting soaked, and then we were in the amazing blue skies that you have already seen. So that sums up what it's like. I've got tons of footage from all this, so there's going to be plenty more videos to come. I hope that you've enjoyed this video with me not being on camera so much. I know that my last Boat Life blog update had an awful lot of me talking to camera. As I say, I lost my previous camera and all the footage it had into the canal, which was very, very unfortunate. But now I'm back and getting more footage than ever with the iPod, and hopefully I'm going to be able to keep posting things that you'll enjoy. So anyway, I think I'm going to hand over to myself on the boat again. Thank you all once again for all of the support and everybody who's been helping out and helping to spread the word. That has been a fantastic help. As usual, feel free to subscribe, check out my other videos for almost 200 Narrowboat videos. Feel free to add me personally on Facebook and Twitter for plenty of boaty pictures and updates from life on the canal. And of course, make sure that you like the Facebook page. I was almost forgetting one then. Yeah, like the Facebook page and check out my books for the Kindle. The Narrowboat Lad, The Narrowboat Lad Living the Dream and The Narrowboat and a Notebook. They're only short books, £1.53 each, and I hope that you all enjoy them. Until the next time, thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic day, have a fantastic evening, whatever time you're watching this. Keep it canal side, and until the next time, farewell.